Hey guys, I'm Brandon. I'm one of the co-founders of Riot. And today I'm gonna talk a little bit about world building. Some of you guys have had some questions about kind of how we think about our world building at Riot, and I just want to walk you through that process and also how world building has evolved over the years. So League was always the priority in the early days, like the game itself, the moment-to-moment gameplay loop, the characters, what they felt like in the context of the game. And the game was going to be multiplayer only, so we wanted to make sure that the champion pool and the IP could facilitate as diverse a cast of characters as possible that could all bring unique fantasies to the experience. The challenge with having such a diverse cast of characters is that ultimately, to imagine them in the same world, it becomes hard. And we made the very conscious decision that we'd rather have a world that can accommodate unique and diverse and offbeat characters than have a world that was like super consistent and thematically constrained, which would have been easier for storytelling, but I think would have hurt the game. I mean, I think there was a moment where we started to just not be in love with our own storytelling. Early on, we kind of felt like we needed a premise for the world that explained who the characters were and why they were there. And I think in retrospect, like that was constraining and it was kind of a mistake. And the problem was like we were trying to sort of wrap up all of these disparate game mechanics that were part of a bunch of systems that made a game fun with a story veneer. And it's sort of over-explaining, like we often compare that to like midichlorians in Star Wars, where it's like we don't necessarily ever need to know like how the Force works scientifically, biologically, et cetera. Like, it's okay that it's like magic in space, like that's awesome. And I think we did that. As much as League has excelled across things like esports, or you may love the frenetic moment-to-moment gameplay of everyday League of Legends, like we want narrative that comes out of League to really touch people in the same way. And we don't think we're there yet. So we're making a lot of investments internally to kind of build some of these muscles so that in the coming years, like there's gonna be a lot of content that is story first. And it might not even be in the game, it's gonna be around the game where we're hoping to really capture people's imagination and kind of deliver on the promise of some of the bold characters that we've all grown to love in League of Legends. I think we've made a ton of progress building out the places in the world and making sure that they have a lot of sort of rich history and meaning and very unique individual kind of components that contrast and complement the rest of the world. Places that are actually gonna live up to the champions that they're meant to like support and provide a canvas for. I think the evolution of Bilgewater has been interesting. We made a pirate character in Gangplank. We wanted an ADC that was really emphasizing gunplay, and we dropped Misfortune into the game, and we were really attached to. We loved the name Misfortune, but they were sort of like two, to be honest, like tropey pirate characters. And over time, we really wanted to understand this Bilgewater place. Like, what was it gonna be? We wanted something different and something evolved. And so we spent a lot of time building up this place that was gonna be this laissez-faire, black market kind of trade hub with, this mix of like transient inhabitants from all over the world and locals with some really interesting sort of backgrounds and stories. And I think today, like we've made a lot of progress towards turning Bilgewater into kind of an interesting place that has a lot of like richness and depth and storytelling possibilities. And I think what's interesting about that effort is as time has gone by, we've used that storytelling background in Bilgewater to rethink Gangplank and rethink Misfortune and make them more interesting, make them thematically make more sense and also just from a narrative standpoint have a place in our world. I think we need to now start to surface a lot of the work that's been done, to define the various places in the world and to really build out our characters. And so, we need to be developing kind of story-first pieces, comic books, some sort of short cinematic narrative-oriented pieces, some novellas, maybe even some full-length novels that can now share the world with all of you guys, and where you guys can kind of weigh in on like what's resonating and what do you love and what do you want next. And you know, some of you guys like will occasionally react to like a CG trailer that we do and be like, okay, right, like, well, this is cool. Where's the movie, right? You know, the reality is like, well, we're not ready for that yet. Like, if we're gonna do it, we want to do it really well. We don't want to be like, so many other video game movies that have really often struggled to sort of live up to the high hopes that we all have. It's tough, and so we take those challenges seriously. We take the world and the IP and our commitment to you guys really seriously. And what that means is like we're taking our time. We want to build up to a universe that all of you guys are really proud of and really excited about, and where, there's tons of freaking awesome stories that we all know and that we all love. Well, thanks for making it this far, and hopefully you found that interesting. And again, if you guys have further questions or further thoughts, please post them in the comments. Thanks.